Any other thoughts?
Lifting your leg? Like,
Lifting my leg. That's an object. It doesn't just simply have to apply to the actual lifting of something, okay? Because the muscle movement, isn't muscle movement simply us doing an action? Walking across, writing on the paper, swinging your arms, turning a cartwheel. I can't do that, don't ask me to do that, okay? But isn't that moving an object? So, active, what's the force that we applied? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm behind the desk. To stretch. All right? Now I gave it a little bit of help, y'all, because I'm old. All right? So I gave it a little bit of help. We're stretching a muscle. Now, if we take a muscle and stretch it too far, we could maybe actually overstretch it, and therefore there won't be enough cross bridging. Now I'm going to show you what I mean. We could have a muscle where those myofilaments get crumpled. We could have passive tension, tension that gets applied to a load, something to move, when the muscle gets stretched but not stimulated. Total tension is what do we get in active plus passive. Now let me show you. Pay attention to your sarcomeres. My muscle length right here. Here are my cross bridges that can form. Here's my M line. Not a lot of room there. So if this muscle, okay, this muscle is not stretched. So therefore, the tension for when that muscle contracts, the tension is very little. Why?
It's at rest.
Well, it doesn't have a lot of places to go. The M line is very small, and there's very few cross bridges that could be pulled, because this is all of the thin filament that's available. Okay? So now, let's look at muscle length 2. For 2, what do you notice about your sarcomere?
bigger
M line space is much larger. What about the space here to here for the thin filament?
Larger.
It's larger, therefore it gives me more cross bridges that can form. So therefore, this would be optimum length. The stretch at this point is optimum for the movement of that muscle. Now, if we begin to stretch too much on that muscle, such as what we see here in 3, okay, what do you notice? Well, first of all, what do you notice about the M line? Huge, right? Got a lot of space right here for the thin filaments, okay? Now, the muscle, yes, severely stretched. but the muscle contraction, okay, the tension is small. Why?
Because the microfilaments are right on the ends of each other.
And we would only pull it a certain amount for that entire contraction. So we can overstretch a muscle, all right? This would be the optimum. This right here, most likely the muscle at rest, all right? You might have to help some of the movement of that muscle, some of the stretching of that muscle that needs to occur. So, once again, it's an effect from the sarcomere based upon those cross bridges that can form. The contractions that we can have, basically, what is that muscle doing? The contractions, have y'all ever heard of this? Isometric, isotonic? All right, and I don't know why, but every time I see this, when I was growing up, now, I was part of the generation that had the black and white TV with the rabbit ears that you had to put the aluminum foil on, and you had to stand sometimes holding the aluminum foil to see the TV, okay? Oh man, I thought it was just great when you got the antenna that went up on the roof of the house, okay? And you had the little box inside that you had to turn the antenna, okay? Y'all don't remember any of this. Y'all missed so much fun, okay? I mean, there were 3 channels. That's it. There were 3 channels. And if the president was on, seriously, your night was ruined, okay? Because it was on all 3 channels, okay? I didn't get 12 channels, or what we called cable, until I was like 13 years old.
It was like UHF or something.
We had
Rifleman was on
UHF.
it.
UHF gave us like 1 extra channel, okay? So, and you'd have to like turn the antenna and turn, and then turn, and then you'd have to be like, okay. And you know, you got your sister sitting over here going to the right, back to the left, okay? And you're, oh man, y'all missed out on all the fun. Okay, y'all don't know the struggles. Now, there was this man, I want to say the name was Ch11Part18.
I was thinking of him when you said this on
Okay.
isometrics.
And he had a show. It came on after the soap operas, all right, because you had to watch the soap operas.
Exercised in a jumpsuit.
And yes, and so after the soap operas, you know, were done, it's like, well, we didn't watch the soap operas because, you know, basically we were told you need to get outside and go play. And so, but after the soap operas, your mom exercised with Ch11Part18, okay? And he was this, like, I guess for the time, this muscled person, okay? And his exercise was simply tightening and loosening, tightening and loosening, tightening and loosening different parts of the body at a certain time. I think he termed it isometric. Okay, I think that was the term he used for his exercises. Okay? And that's all he did. I mean, there weren't any lifting weights. I can't remember if he did jumping jacks or whatever to warm up.
He did that.
I think he did, okay? But yeah, it was like,
Toe touching.
yes, okay? And I remember that for some reason when we get to this point, because look what gets to happen. Look what takes place for the muscle length based on these types of contractions. If a muscle contraction is termed isometric, iso same, meter length, okay? No change in length. of that muscle. But the tension increased. The good example, those very deep muscles in your back, the ones that allow you to have the posture, to sit up straight, walk straight, okay? The tension is always there, okay? There's always some, well, at night it's less, okay? But during the day, when you're up, when you're moving, okay, they're getting quite a bit of the action potential. So that's going to affect the tension, but they don't change in length. If those postural muscles changed in length, I have no idea what would happen. Okay? So, the tension can get greater, but there's no change in the length. All right? If a contraction is isotonic, okay? Same, the tone, okay? We get change in length, but the tension, no. We can have what's termed concentric, think about a circle, eccentric, okay? Concentric has to overcome an opposing force. Do I have muscles that are changing in their length? I do, right? So, am I giving any more tension to these? Think about my lower leg muscles. Think about my hamstrings. Think about my quads. Think about my soleus. Think about my gastroc. Tension, once I get it started, the tension's there, okay? But I definitely have to see the change in the length, and I have to overcome an opposing force. What force am I having to overcome to do this? Gravity. I'm having to overcome gravity to move. Now, the postural muscles, no. They didn't have to do anything in their length, but the postural muscles of my back and of my hips, they got a greater tension. Because they had to hold me in place. So what we're going to say, we have muscle tone.